Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. I was putting my phone on silent because I figured somebody would probably try to call me. All right, so we have two 40% alcohol Canadian blended whiskeys. And I think I've done 15 of the Potter's Crown versus everyone else. And I think I have 14. I have only one loss. So I'm looking at 14 wins, one loss so far. So that's telling me something. It's telling me that I could tell Potter's Crown apart from the others and that it hasn't been doing so well. Now, that's the same label they had when it was introduced in 1983. Introduced by Frank-Lin Distillers Distilling Beverage. I'm saying it wrong. Frank-Lin Distillers Products Company. And they never bothered changing the label. I guess it's okay. Showing a crown for King Charles III, King of Canada, New Zealand, Norfolk Island, Christmas Island, the British Antarctic Territory, Scotland, and other realms and territories around the world. All right, distilled and blended in Canada. It's bottled in California by Frank-Lin Distilling, established in 1966 when they bought another distilling products company that had been there since 1933. And part of the family also owns a huge tequila distillery in Mexico called Maestri Distilling. So the Maestri family owns this place, Maestri Distilling of Mexico. Now this in California is not a distillery, it's a distilling products company. They bring in this distilled products from around the world, either blend them there or leave them alone and just them. There's the new building. There's a 1-800 number you can call. Let's see. They're showing some, these are called their brands, their discount brands. Let's see what Grand Orendian vodka took. Oh, thing came up. Bad link. Orendian Olitas, 100% agave. Okay. Grand Olendian, little hot tequilas. This doesn't look like budget brands to me. 100% agave tequila, and this is their budget brands. Whatever. That's their website. All right. Here's the Crown Royal Reserve website page. Our master blender hand selects less than 1% of our exceptionally aged whiskeys, creating a blend that is aged longer, but they don't give a specific age statement. For the perfect balance of flavor and whiskey is our blender's gift to Crown Royal enthusiasts. Reserve grade blend with a velvety, long-lasting finish. And this one tends to run about 40, it's about $44.99. Could go up to 50, but I wouldn't. I would around. You'd probably find a good deal around $44.99. The nose, rich and complex with hints of apple and floral notes. Palate, very velvety, smooth, and mellow with defined oak tones and rich spicy flavors of baking spices and vanilla. Expansive, long-lasting finish. All right. Okay. Introduced in 1991 by Seagram's before they sold it to Diageo. This Crown Royal has had two owners in its history, okay? It was introduced by Seagram's in 1939, and they held on to it till they sold it to Diageo in 2000. So that's it. That's the owners. Now, I know Potter's Crown is aged 3 years because it says on the bottle, aged 3 years. Okay. Looks like plastic is the only bottle it comes in. This is like a velveteen bag. Almost feels like leather, but it's not. But gold with purple, fancy bag. Unfortunately, I'm getting to the end of my Crown Royal Reserve, which is a great product. Well worth the money. I saw they had the Crown Royal Blackberry again at Mathern's today, and it was not flying out the store. There's the Crown. Was not flying out the store like back in March and February and March. I figured that once people tried it, then the hype was over. Then it'd be sitting there for months. I think they wanted $27.99 or $29.99. When I bought it, it was $24.99. I wasn't too impressed with the Blackberry. It was kind of bland. But my friend George said, well, you know, Blackberries are kind of bland just on their own. So his attitude was, what made you think the whiskey was going to be dynamic if they were using a bland berry? And I was like, well, I guess you have a point. So there you go. There's the backside. Now, it says reserve. It doesn't say special reserve, but in my title, it says special reserve. Well, look at the bottle cap, or the crown, as they call it. Some people call it Crown Royal Special Reserve. They never changed the cap. It's not a high volume seller. I mean, you know, the regular Crown Royal is going to sell. This one, a few people will buy it. But considering the price, for the same price of this, you could get a whole big handle of Crown Royal. But it's an inferior product. Okay, Burley Sullivan says, you. All right, Burley, cheers back to you. As you can see, the appearance is quite different. The Crown Royal is copper, and the Potter's Crown is amber gold. So we'll have to close my eyes when I mix them up and taste it. Do I expect this to be a true challenge? No. It's going to be a wipeout. But they are in the same class. They're both whiskeys, and they're both the same type of whiskey, Canadian blended whiskey. So that's the way it works. So I should be at 15-1 after this. All right. Should be able to guess it on aroma only. But that could, maybe I'm overestimating that. Yeah, just regular grain alcohol, which whiskey is literally grain alcohol because it's all from grain. Unless there's some flavoring added, but the vast majority is grain. Yeah, this is clearly the Crown Royal Reserve. It's a much richer aroma. It's like a depth of flavor. It almost has creme brulee notes. You would never get this in a $14.99 Canadian whiskey. Never, never, never. So this is the Crown Royal, and I haven't even tasted them yet. Got it. Aroma only. No contest whatsoever. But let's go ahead, and it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better because I ran out of Crown Royal Black. I drank it all. So that wouldn't have been a contest. And Crown Royal XO, there's no hope. There's no way it can win. Potter's Crown is going to have a terrible losing streak. They look like the Carolina Panthers. But actually, they're better than that. All right. It's got creamy vanilla. It's got oak. It has sweet corn. It has all the common um, flavors of Canadian whiskey. It's just drab in a relative sense. Compared to these others, it's drab, it's bland, and it has a little oak bite, like a toothpick wood bite. So can't match up, can't measure up. But is it a good deal for $14.99? Yeah, it's a good deal for $14.99. What about $16.99? Now, well, maybe you might want to pass on it. See what I mean? Rich, deep, like I said, that creme brulee almost like it's like a maple syrup. Now, I don't think they're adding flavoring to this, but of course, they don't have to tell you if they are. So, how do we know? We don't. But if they're adding flavoring, it's a good flavor. How would this do against like an American bourbon? Things like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Ezra Brooks. Uh, um, what's that one I'm thinking of? Evan Williams. Those that level, it'd blow them up. They could never compete against this. You said, well, that's not a bourbon. I know it's a Canadian blended whiskey, which is similar to bourbon, except they're aging it in used barrels, but not a lot. Some Canadian whiskey is aged in new charred oak barrels. New charred oak barrel. You said, well, then it's bourbon. Yeah, but not legally because it's made in Canada. In a practical sense, yeah, it is. In a practical sense, it's the same thing. It's mostly corn. It could have rye or wheat or malted barley added. Aged in oak for at least 3 years in Canada, so it's even a year longer than you're required to put for straight bourbon. And some Canadian, most aren't, but some Canadian whiskeys are aged in new charred oak barrels, like the discontinued Blender's Mash, originally known as Bourbon Mash, and Crown Royal Black. They said he used charred oak. I don't know. They didn't say new charred oak, but you would assume it's new. But no, can't be called bourbon because it's not made. But like I said, it's kind of like the same thing. All right, and so the point is this would wipe them out. Now, would it wipe out some high grade Elijah Craig and high grade Evan Williams and all that, like single barrel? I don't know. I never had those, so it might lose to those. It might lose to Henry McKenna, aged 10 years. I have the regular Henry McKenna. Well, mine's gone, but I had that's a nice one. But my friend David says that the Henry McKenna, the small batch, is not worth the money. He thinks that the $9.99 bottles, this is him talking, not he thinks it's a much better value. I can't comment on that because, like I said, I never had the long aged one. But should you get the reserve? You should get it if you like trying all kind of exciting, really good whiskeys. You should get it. So would I highly recommend this? I would definitely highly recommend it. Clearly, but you got to shop around. Don't get stuck on the first one you see. It's not rare. I mean, I can get it at Walmart. I can get it at Mathern's. I can get it at Winn-Dixie. I can get it at most of these gas stations. Might be in a half-size bottle, which really won't be a value. Get it at Total Wine and More. I can get it at Rouse's if I go into the city. We don't have a Rouse's here. So shop around. You shouldn't be in that big of a rush. And you might be able to you really might be able to track down a bottle for $44.99. I think I paid $40.99. $40.99. But Total Wine had a little deal that day, so naturally I took advantage of it. I can check real fast, see what they got it for right now. I bet it's a little bit more. Otter's Crown. It's fine. I don't take any issue with it. And well, I only pay $14.99 at international markets, so why should I have a problem with it? But it's not anything too great. Okay, Crown Royal Reserve, Special Reserve, as the cap says, the Crown. There it is, $85.99. But that's the big bottle, $85.99. Yep, $44.99. That's the price I quoted. But like I said, I paid $40, so the price has gone up. I paid $40.99, but that was a while back. Oh yeah. The score gets a 96 out of 100 with 109 reviews, a 96 out of 100. That's what I'm saying. This is no joke, man. This stuff is no joke. Let's see what Crown Royal gets. Just regular old Crown Royal. I love that new bottle. It looks sharp. About time they updated it, since they never really did since 1939, except they took the Seagrams off. The old ones would say Seagram's Crown Royal, and then the new one just say Crown Royal. But really, the bottle shape and the label never really changed. Never really changed since 1939 that I could see. I was looking at old bottles. Hey, Crown Royal gets a 94 with 975 reviews. So you know it's going to have a high volume amount of reviews. Hey, but that's a high score. But you know, these Crown Royal fans, they love it. You know, they just drink it all the time. Most Crown Royal drinkers that I have met have never tried this. Bart Robinson said, I've been enjoying the reserve for a few years now. No complaints. I don't see how anybody would complain about it. But I'm sure there's beers. I'm sure there's whiskey snobs out there that would tell you it's a 1 out of 100. That it's trash, that they would never drink it, that it's what they would call it brown vodka, you know, and all kind of other idiotic statements. Just it's stupidity. Now I'm not saying somebody couldn't drink it and say they didn't like it. Okay, you don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why you would say that, but let's say you don't like it. It does have like a cinnamon flavor. But to get on there and give it a score like an F, that's a joke. It's clearly a joke. It's the same people in the beer world, you know, the beer snobs. They'll give Budweiser a 0 out of 100, and they'll say, "I'd rather drink water if I went to a party and all they had was Budweiser." They get invited to a wedding reception, right? And the only thing they have is Budweiser, and they're going to drink water, even though it's free. Yeah, believe that story. You believe anything. They'll drink the free Budweiser all night. Of course, they'll go around the whole reception hall and announce to everybody how much they hate it, and it's filth, and doesn't it taste terrible? You know that they got to let everybody know. Yeah, I was drinking this Parabola the other day, and nobody at the reception knows what you're talking about, nor do they care. All right, anyway, so the clear and present winner is Crown Royal Reserve / Special Reserve, but who would have ever doubted it? Not me. No other sane person would have doubted it. So next time, it's going to get worse because it's going to be Crown Royal Bourbon Mash / Blender's Mash / no longer made. But this Potter's Crown does not stand a chance. It will get, as my father would say, swashbuckled. He always says that team got swashbuckled. That's funny to hear that. But yeah, whatever terminology you want to use, it's going to get decimated, annihilated, anticipated, cremated, articulated, and otherwise defeated. Poor old Potter's Crown. I shouldn't have done this to that product, but I did. It's on the market. It opens itself up to competition, so it's going to get competed against. And then we're going to close out with Crown Royal XO. You say XO? That's finishing cognac barrels. That will destroy this product. I know it will. You say, I'm skipping those videos. I don't want to watch that. That's not even going to be close. I know. Well, if you skip it, I wouldn't take offense. I mean, I say I would skip it, but I always watch those things anyway, you know. Anyway, all right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.